One of the things I notice is that we can often miss the things that are going well in our lives, understandably so. When you think about, life, we have house alarms and we have car alarms, we have fire alarms in order to alert us when things aren't going well, but we never have everything's okay alarms. And it's easy for us to miss what's going well. When we walk into a dark room, we flick the light switch and the light comes on, we don't really think anything of it. But when we flick the light switch and nothing happens, then we really focus on that in a way that we don't focus when the light comes on. And so it's understandable, I suppose, that we'll focus on when things aren't going well to such an extent that we'll miss when things are going better. And of course, things do go better for us. We all have our ups and downs, but also we make progress in areas of our life all the time, really. If we look back, say, there's been many times where we can look back, say, 3 or 4 weeks to a time where we were in a much worse position in some area of our life than we are right now. And that things have actually gotten better, or we've made changes to put ourselves in a better place than we were 3 to 4 weeks ago. But because we've made things better, we can often miss the fact that we've done that because everything's returned back to that everything's okay stage, or everything's better at least. And so we'll often miss the fact that we've done something heroic in that moment to actually make that journey. And one of the worst things about that is in the missing of the fact that we've made that journey, we also miss as well what it is that we've done that enable that journey to be possible. What were our strategies that got us from there to here? And so one of the tools that I'm going to invite you to use is that when you notice that you've made some positive changes in life, and they might just be small things, maybe over a couple of weeks period, but those times where, 3 weeks ago, you'd have loved to have been where you are maybe at this moment, those kind of changes. What you can actually do is to embed the information behind what caused that change. And a really good way of doing it is to imagine that somebody is right now where you were 3 to 4 weeks ago. When you were at that lower point, there's somebody who right now is at that lower point and is looking at where you are with a certain amount of awe and thinking, wow, how did you get there? Because that's exactly where I want to be. And what I'd like you to imagine to do, what I'd invite you to do, is to give some tips. Like, what are the tips and advice that you would give to that person who was in the place that you were 3 to 4 weeks ago before you made this progress? How could you advise them and teach them as to how to get to where you are now, that place that they're really desperate to get to, from where you were to where you are? What is the advice that you would give them? How would you kind of mentor them and guide them as to how to get where you are now, where they're longing to be? And in the process of you teaching this person how you got from where they are to where you are now, from where you were to where you are now, within that, there's going to be an awful lot of information that you can actually take hold of, the kind of information that you might have missed about what it is that you did in order to make that change, what it is that you did in order to create that progress. And so by taking the time out to show some empathy to that person, that imaginary person who is at the place where you were at your lower point, you can actually share with them and yourself what it took to get you here. And in the process of teaching, you get to understand what it is that you did, what those strategies were, what those resources are that you yourself will be able to use again going forward. Now, whether that's surrounding yourself with other people, whether that's taking time out for stuff that you know you enjoy, or whether that's doing some exercise, whatever it happens to be, really, it's going to be different for everybody. But in that journey from where you were to where you are, in that teaching that you might give to someone who is currently in your shoes from back then, in teaching that person how to get from there to here, you'll actually be embedding some knowledge in yourself about what it took for you to make that journey, what strategies you used to make that journey. So teaching this imaginary person, mentoring this imaginary person on how to get from there to where you are now is actually a great way to embed and understand what contribution you made to where you've actually got to in that journey. And in embedding that knowledge and understanding that knowledge, what you actually get is a set of resources and a set of strategies that you're fully aware of that you can use again and again and again. Not just in case you ever dip back to that point in the future, but in order to keep moving you on in that journey. So, in terms of the progress that you've made in life from any point to this point, as long as you're a little bit higher now than you were then, give some advice to that imaginary person who is where you were and is looking at where you are and is overcome with awe and envy even as to where you are and just wants your help. How did you get there? In the teaching of that person, you're going to connect to your own resources and your own strategies that are proven to have worked for you. So if you like this idea and you like this podcast episode, please do share it with your friends. You can find us on YouTube now as well. Just type in asliceoftherapy.com and you'll go to the YouTube channel, but you can also get us on Stitcher and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and Spotify, pretty much anywhere where you would find your favourite podcasts. And if you want to work with me, Alun Parry, I'm from the Liverpool Psychotherapy practice on Rodney Street, and you can find me at liverpoolpsychotherapy.co.uk, and I'll be back tomorrow with another episode, so thanks for listening.